This is President Joe Biden. During the 2020 campaign, Biden ran on the premise that he was going to raise taxes, but only for the wealthiest of Americans.
Here's how my plan works. It's not going to raise a penny in tax for anyone making less than $400,000 a year. Not a penny.
What Biden was proposing was raising the top federal individual tax rate from 37% to 39.6% and lowering the threshold of who would pay it.
It's time to reward hard work in America, not wealth. Reward work, not wealth. We have to penalize wealth. But it's the opposite now. We reward wealth and not work.
When a Democrat or socialist sees wealth, they automatically think that it comes from a place of privilege and that you didn't work hard for it. Like you just click a money button and rake in the bucks automatically. I mean, not everyone is rich because they were lucky enough to receive a 10% cut of their son's business dealings. Who's the big guy, Joe? Anyway, before we continue, I want to make sure that everyone is on the same page, so let me quickly explain how federal income tax brackets work. Here are the 2021 federal income tax brackets for single filers. Let's say you make $90,000 this year. Looking at this chart, you would fall into this category. That means you would be taxed 24% of your $90,000 income, right? Nope, that's not how it works. I'll try and make this as simple as possible. Everything that you make between $0 and $9,950 is taxed at 10%. Then everything between $9,951 and $40,525 will be taxed at 12%, and so on. Now, Biden hasn't sent a detailed tax plan to Congress yet, but we have a pretty good idea about some of the basics. On his campaign page, Biden proposed raising the top individual income rate back to 39.6%. So again, what all that means is that Biden wants the top tax rate raised from 37% to 39.6%, and the income threshold would be lowered to $400,000. To reiterate, Joe Biden has promised over and over again that if you make under $400,000 a year, you will not pay higher taxes. On Biden's campaign website, it states he won't ask a single person making under $400,000 per year to pay a penny more in taxes, and Joe Biden will not raise taxes on anyone making less than $400,000, period.
Here's how my plan works. I'm not going to raise taxes on a single solitary American making less than $400,000 a year. We won't pay a penny more, it's a guarantee.
Biden will not raise taxes on a single solitary American making less than $400,000 a year. That seems pretty definitive, right? Well, not so fast.
You know, President Biden has pledged not to raise taxes on households making less than $400,000, but
man, that's a pretty crazy mistake for the Treasury Secretary to make. There is not one instance where Joe Biden or anyone in his campaign used the term households.
Anybody making more than $400,000 will see a small to a significant tax increase. If you make less than $400,000, you won't see one single penny in additional federal tax.
Oh, see? Biden isn't saying households or families. He's saying anybody and you. Nothing to worry about.
On the president's interview, he said on taxes that anybody making more than $400,000 will see a small to a significant tax increase. To clarify, did he mean individuals or households? Because it wasn't very clear, and Secretary Yellen, I think, has referred to households before.
Families.
You mother... You see how that escalated? It went from every single solitary American to families. That is your classic Democrat bait and switch.
When we're talking about families making over $400,000 a year, this is a commitment that he talked about on the campaign trail.
These people are absolutely shameless. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Me and my spouse make less than $400,000 a year, so we won't be charged the top tax rate, right? Nope, Biden was lying. If your combined income is more than $400,000 under Biden, regardless of whether you file separately, your tax rate is going to shoot up to 39.6%, And that's a pretty significant penalty for being married and having a 2-income household. So my tax tip for today, you better cancel that spring wedding. So unfortunately, tax rates won't be falling anytime soon. Joe Biden, on the other hand, don't worry guys, it was the wind. And even though Biden fell 3 times in a row, the left has been oddly forgiving, which is weird considering that they went after Trump for things like slowly walking down a ramp. As an example, here's one of the more prolific creators on TikTok named Typical Democrat.
Donald Trump is clearly unfit to serve as president. Recently, Trump spoke to West Point graduates. But let's look at an alarming event that occurred. Trump is struggling to walk down the steps. Now, let's look at Joe Biden do the exact same thing.
Walking up an incline and walking down an incline are not the exact same thing. This is the exact same thing. President Trump was walking slow, not because of any physical limitations, but because there wasn't a handrail and he didn't want to slip and fall. This is called being careful. Unlike whatever this is. Anyway, the same TikToker claiming that walking slow means that you're unfit for office also thinks that falling 3 times in a row is just something the presidents do.
So today, Joe Biden fell while he was walking up the Air Force One steps, and Republicans are going wild. They're saying he's not fit to serve because he fell.
No, nobody is saying that, but we're sure making fun of it.
They're saying that his fall is a sign of weakness.
Fact check true.
But what they don't understand is that this is not unique for presidents. Presidents and vice presidents throughout history have fallen walking up the steps to their planes. For example, on June 23rd, 2020, Mike Pence fell while climbing the stairs to Air Force Two.
And he got right back up. Not a big deal.
President Ford also fell.
Yeah, because of the rain. He had a legitimate excuse. And thanks to an excessive amount of negative media imagery, this fall basically defined his presidency. And I'm sure it had nothing to do with him being a Republican.
President Obama fell walking up Air Force One.
No, he was walking down the stairs and he didn't fall, he barely tripped. Give me a break.
Hillary Clinton fell.
Yeah, but Hillary Clinton was never a president or vice president, thankfully.
So acting like falling walking up the steps to Air Force One is an indicator of anything is really ridiculous.
Let's be real here. If Trump fell in the same exact way, Democrats like this genius would have been calling on Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment. Now, the real reason that people are making fun of Joe Biden isn't really because he fell, it's the irony.
Look at how he steps and look how I step. Watch how I run up ramps and he stumbles down ramps, okay? Come on.
And don't forget how this septuagenarian campaigned on how virile he is.
Some people are always in a hurry. They run when they could walk, race up steps when others take it slow.
So the message to Americans? Vote for the candidate most likely to break his hip. Pro tip, Joe, walk, don't run. Well, that's it for now. Check out these videos that you may have missed because they weren't pushed out for some reason. And while you're at it, subscribe to the channel. As always, thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time. If there is next time.